on YouTube. So something I thought I'd start doing. At the moment, guys, we've just had a nice to be busy today. Busy today. Up early this morning, then done a bit of gardening with some, still on that gardening project, putting a few slabs here and there and what have you. Then tomorrow, got to put some wood round the lawn, artificial lawn, and paint the barbecue cover. So the gardening project, guys, is coming to an end, which is really, really good. So we've got some good weather next week as well. So that's good. Been down to the watch shop and got a few bits and pieces or some paint brushes for painting some wood tomorrow, guys, as well. So just had tea outside, had a couple of barbecues, haven't we, already this week? But problem is with barbecues this time of year, as you probably most agree, it's nice enough in the sun. When the sun goes down, it gets cold. We've had some easterly winds, haven't we? And I think they're going to be blowing for the next week or so. And when you got those easterly winds, there's just a little chill, isn't it? And it makes your food go. Well, I think it makes your food go colder as well, guys. So yeah. So I'm not sure if I need to get the laptop down as well and see if there's any comments on there. And I'm not sure if I have to sort of advertise this in advance that we're going live. But we are, as far as I know, it says live across the top of my screen, okay? So, yeah. So I've been working on those little bugs all week, guys, you know? Those little bugs all week. And I've had a busy day. Sale-wise, lots going on. And now I'm carrying on with stalkers. This is the all black stalker with a high-vis head. One in some in Chartreuse, some in green. There's the green head. I'm going to paint some eyes on those and then epoxy those up before about Wednesday, because I'm hoping to sort of revamp and put all the sort of favourite stalkers back into stock, because when I'm busy I might have like a week or so doing the full barbless range, and then I might have a couple of weeks on damsels and then, you know, bits and pieces, and then it's not just those that sell, is it, you know? So it's the other things that sell as well. So yeah, they keep chipping away at my stock. So yeah, stalkers are low. So yeah, I'm working on those now, guys. I've been working all day, and then tomorrow morning, say a bit more DIY. And as you know, guys, I'm not a fan of DIY, am I? I'm really not a fan of DIY. Can't even spell it, guys. But yeah, senior management makes me do it, or she beats me with a big stick. Well, that's okay. I don't want to beat you with a big stick now and then. A big, strong lad, you know. Anyway, but yeah. So yeah, I hope this live is going live. What I need to do, I think, is get the laptop. Let's have a look at my phone. I'm not going to get the laptop now, I don't think. I think someone's already commented. Ransom Crawler, live is a great idea, Martin. Well done. Hang on. Linda, wife, what did that say, Linda? There we are. I think I'm going live. I've got Cameron Stevenson. Hi, Martin. And then I've got Svetlana. Pop over. I don't know about that name, to be honest. It says, hi, how are you doing? But, well, I'm doing fine, thank you very much. I hope you're all having a good day, guys. So I can see, yeah, I can see stuff coming on my phone. So, as you know, I'm the world's worst for gadgets and computers. And when I do my GoPro stuff, I go through it all and cut it all. But then my son does all the editing. So, yeah, does all the editing. Second cricket game's on as well, so we're watching that. 64 to win off 17. That ain't happening, is it? That is not happening. So yeah, I'm making a list of all the Stalkers bits and pieces to do. I did see I needed some olive marabou bugs as well, guys, but whether they'll happen. And the black bugs I sort of forgot. Hive is orange and the chartreuse longcast. I've messaged my supplier and ordered 10 packs, 5 packs of the orange and gold, 5 packs of the chartreuse and gold. So I don't think he's working weekends, so he'll get back to me no doubt in the week. Blacktail I'm working on now. Fire Tiger, I've got to do some Fire Tiger Stalkers. I've got to do some, I think I'll do 2 lots of I think I'll do 2 lots of cat stalkers. I think I'll do a pearly sort of cat's tail, which will be that nice pearly cat stalker. And I might do like a sort of white marabou with a bit of flash cat stalker as well. So, yeah, lots happening. Dale Meads, completely agree. Live is take the future, possibly tying tutorials. My flies arrived. Oh, hi Martin, it's John Evans. Oh, there we are. We like John. Have you any outings coming up? And there's lots of things on there saying Ashy is him, Old Man Joe coming up lots of times. Wow, I'm getting good at this internet, guys. Wow. I'm a big boy soon. I'll be sending emails as well. I tell you what, guys, as well. I did email Tim at Letchlead today as well. Okay, I haven't spoke to Tim. Or messaged him for a year or so now. Guys, I get the feeling we fell out. But I don't want to fall out with anybody. When I was doing my fishing reports, okay, which I would like to do and like to do again. Guys, I only tell the truth. If someone's fishing good and someone's fishing great, I say it's fishing great. If someone's fishing absolute shit, not so much absolute shit, but if people send me a message saying, I fish so-and-so all day and we never had a bite, that's all I can report. But if I'm being honest, I can see possibly Tim's point of view. I did report on something that wasn't fishing good, and someone never had a bite, and their child never had a bite. So what I didn't want to do is stop the amount of anglers going through the door. My main thing to do was just to give a report. But perhaps, doing it that way might have stopped people going there. So, guys, that might have been a little bit of a fault of mine. So it was never no intent to cause any ag with Letchlead. I get the feeling Tim was fucked off with me. I do get that feeling, guys, because and I had 2 or 3 messages, okay, guys, off different people. Might have been 3 or 4 messages that it was going to turn into a carp fishery, or they were breeding carp there, but that's what people messaged me, so that's what I said. And then I believe Tim put a post and say, he didn't know where people get these stories. It's only what stories come to me. So Tim, if I upset the apple cart, I apologise, guys, okay? I apologise, which I have done to Tim, I think. But yeah, I have messaged him, guys, okay? To see, if he's got any news for us. I've asked him how his health is. We know he's not very well. And I've asked him how bushy's fishing, and I've asked him the main question: is there any plans for Letchley, the Specimen Lake, for this winter? So I hoped him message me back. I've been fishing there for 57 now, when I was 18, nearly 40 years. So, Judy's calling you old. I'm not calling anybody old, am I? Oh yeah, one question. Svetlana, pop over. What are you making? Well, I'm making black stalking bugs. Okay, so what I've got here is a size 10, guys, B175, and I've got some 4mm tungsten beads in chartreuse and green. Okay, so for me, these black stalking bugs are an absolute perfect pattern for clear water stalking. I mean, you imagine trout looking at clear water in black is going to be a brilliant silhouette. It's going to stand out brilliant. I might not see black as good as perhaps a more high-vis colour, but I can see the high-vis heads. So I got a black fly, I can see it, and I got a high-vis head, which I can see as well. So yeah, for clear water stalking, for me a black fly is good. So yeah, I hope that answers your question. Do you know what, guys? See that finger there? If I just get a little bit of rough there, when I wrap in like that, the thread touches it, skags the thread. So I've always got handy a rough as a robber's dog emery board. Here we are. Smooth as a baby's bottom again now. Here we are, lovely. So yeah, I don't want to skag the thread, because when you're epoxying, you know, you want the smoothest, perfect finish. And the thread I'm using, my supplier, Chris at Lathkill, has just got it in now. It's my favourite thread. It comes in from America, so I just had a carload in. Because like some epoxy or some threads, if they're slightly rough or just slightly scaggy, when you epoxy it, that shows up a lot. You know, it's rough, but you want a thread, or I want a thread, when I'm epoxying, doesn't matter if it's under Fritz, doesn't matter what thread, you know, you use, but I tend to use this anyway. But this is a 210 denier thread. See that there? That's the orange version. So the average guy will use a 70 denier thread, okay? This is 3 times as strong. And this is, okay? So if I'm building up this black body to the shoulder of this bead, if I used a uni thread, well, this is a 136, but quite often I use a 70 denier on little flies. I would be winding and winding and winding to build up that body size. I don't want to be doing that, do I? I want to build up the body size fairly quick. And I want the best finish thread for epoxy. Like I said, if I was winding Fritz on top, it doesn't really matter what thread's underneath, does it? But when I'm epoxying, I want a nice finish, a nice smooth thread finish. When I epoxy, you know, wherever you epoxy, you know, if you epoxy something like that, when you put the epoxy on, it's going to be like that. So I want it nice and smooth so I can do the epoxy. Ransom Crawlers, Bushy Lees is still closed up, Martin, just down the road from us. When are you next going on the bank, mate? Well, I've got a trip to Testwood, end of April. I would like to get out possibly between now and end of April. Anybody's got some sort of choice here, or anybody, you know. The problem is, guys, where we are here in, I say where we are here in South Wales, I do keep forgetting about Dar Valley. Dar Valley is not that far, and I should go up there, guys. But all the other sort of lakes further south are 2 hours away. You know, they are 2 hours away. So, yeah, I was looking, I got the GoPro here, and I've just been looking on the, I got the app on this phone, so I can look at the clips from Rockbourne. And I started off on the last one with me and the wife a cup of tea, and I think the clock said 4:20, and I'm in the kitchen. So that's an early start. But that was a Saturday morning going down, you know, and we were staying over Saturday night, so that's not so bad. So my son will be working on that video tomorrow, and on the phone of that particular, on my GoPro app on this phone, there could be, say, 30 different clips from last trip. So what I do, I just started now. See, number 1 is a tick, so that's fine. Number 2 is fine. 3 is fine. 4. So what I've got on 4, look, stop at 2 minutes. So you might go to 2 minutes, it's okay, and then it might be a little bit where I'm, I don't know, tying a fly on, scratching my ass, no comment, no nothing. So I don't really want everything in there. So I have to say stop at that time, restart at that time. So yeah, it takes me an hour or so or probably a couple of hours to go through it, give that information to my son. He downloads it on his computer and goes to one of these editing type of programs, and then he'll download that and he'll do the video for me. So that's how we roll, guys. That's how we roll on that. So yeah. I have to go. I hope you get moat views and likes and subscribers. Lavinia, nice. What's your favourite fly this time of year? Wow, this time of year. So what are we now? This is a good time of year now. What you've got, I mean, you've got the water's still really cold, all right, after the winter, okay? And without this, this week and last week, brilliant. We've had no rain, okay? So the waters are not going to be coloured, and you've got cold water, and then you've got the sun getting a little bit higher, a little bit higher, a little bit higher. So when that sun gets a bit higher, we've got more visibility. Because when the sun's low, just over the trees, well, we can't see then, can we? Because it's not. But the higher the sun, the better we can see. So you've got cold water, clear water, sun starting to get a little bit higher all the time. So what's my favourite fly? Well, last week at Rockbourne, I did put on a blue flash damsel firebird, okay? It was okay, but there was a tinge of colour in the water. Just a tinge. It rained the night before. So I had a couple of follows. I seen fish following it and turning off, but not one of them went for it. They were following, I thought, here we go, but they turned off. So what did I go for? I went for the old favourite, black and gold. And the reason I went for black and gold, because our water was a little bit coloured and I could see it better. It was a toss-up. Shall I go copper or black and gold? That's my two favourites, isn't it? Copper or black and gold. But what I've got now, I've got some of the new materials that the companies are making for me. That orange and gold, chartreuse and gold. There they are there. I had 5 packs of each of these a week ago. That's half a pack of each. I've ordered another 10. There's copper, you know, my favourite copper as well. So, yeah. So, wow. This time of year, if I was pulling, on a water that had a tinge of colour, just a tinge, I'd probably use a black leech. Okay, I think a black leech attaches everything. All right, attracts everything. If I'm stalking and the water's clear, it's probably going to be a black and gold or a copper and orange. Okay, but sometimes I change. All right, because I need to change because of the water conditions. I put something on. Like a lot of people who use tiny little flies that are natural colours for stalking. These guys are excellent, you know. And you've got Neil Perry and I can't think of my name's mate. Colin Bedu. These guys get me to tie size 14 bugs up with nothing on them. And the problem is for me, because my eyesight's not very good, you know, when I'm trying to stalk those flies, I can't see them. So I might use bigger flies than a lot of people because I have to, because I can, you know, when I'm twitching that sort of black and gold, copper and orange, as I twitch it, you know, that tail flashes and I can see it. If I'm twitching a size 14 elk here, this brown in colour, and there's no movement, there's no flash in the tail, I struggle to see that. I don't say always, but I struggle to see it. But you've got, you know, I call them the old school because they seem to do it better with the more natural flies. Like I say, your Colin Bedu, your Neil Perry's. I was watching Neil at Rockbourne on our last trip, and I'd had a few fish, and I'd had a beer, and we'd had lunch. So I tied Neil, or Neil had been using some black and peacock spiders that the late Sid Knight had tied him. Now, generally a black and peacock spider, guys, is a small fly, probably a size 12, nothing. You know, a black peacock herl body and a soft black hackle goes back. So more of a sort of, for me, probably more of a little river fly or a reservoir with you know, that has natural fishing on small browns or things like that. But Neil had them on big flies, big hooks like size 8. I didn't realise how big they were. So we was at Letchley we was at Rockbourne on the last trip a fortnight ago, and he was casting these black and peacock spiders I'd done for him into Alder, the first lake, slightly right into the bay there, you know, because you could see the browns. Say there was a tinge of colour, but the browns were swimming high, okay, and you could see them. Now the problem he had, a black peacock spider at 20 yards, I couldn't see anything. I knew where the fly was landing. I could see the end of his fly line landing, and I could see the plop of his fly. So I knew roughly when he was retrieving, and you could see the fish turn on. So on this day, he missed a couple. He had a couple of nice rainbows of £9, but there was a few browns that he tweaked. But you could see them turn, and when they were following, you were just looking for just a little opening of the mouth, a little bit of white, and that's all you're looking for. So then I tied him. He'd already got them. I tied him some black and peacock spiders, but I had some with a grizzled badger type hackle, which is black and white, and I dyed them chartreuse. So you've got the peacock body, and you've got that black and chartreuse hackle. Now the advantage with that, at 20 yards, you can see that coming because it's not all black. You know, there's lead under the body to give it a bit of weight. There's no high-vis head on that. We want to try and keep it as, you know, flash-free as we can. A little bit of colour on the hackle, but that was better. So we could chuck it out, and I could see it, and he could see it, because you got that little soft chartreuse hackle, you know, with a few black bars in it as well. So that made the difference. So that was really good to see Neil and Neil's, he's an expert in he still holds the Diva world record for 4 fish stalked for over £80. Guys, 420s on a day ticket. Not a big corporate day, not extra fish, turned up on a day ticket. Was it late 80s or early 90s? I'm sure Neil will let us know. But wow, turn up. And he said back in those days, there was, lots of fish. But I guess everything now, guys, has gone up, hasn't it? Everything. It's becoming the norm now where, fishing specimen venues is £100. Super venues, £200, and your normal day tickets up to £50. But that's the way. That's what we got to do. That's what we got to get used to paying, isn't it? So that is how it's going. But yeah, it was good for me to spend half an hour stood by Neil Perry, watching him. It was really, really good. So let me just have a little look here. What have we got? Oh, I have to go. I hope you get more views and like subscribers. Nice. What's your favourite fly? We done that this time of year. Like I said, if I'm pulling, bit of tinge. Yeah, bit of tinge in the water. Black leech with a yellow head, and then stalking. Something with a flash tail for me. I'm sure the guys, with better vision at close range, like my little hares bugs. Guys, not enough of you are using those little elk hair bugs. They are absolutely brilliant, okay? And the little gator bugs, it's lead wire, little tail, either of elk or tiny bit of flash. Guys, you need to try more of things like that. You can fish them for slow twitching, you can fish them for static, you can fish them for stalking, guys, okay? It's not a fly that you're probably, a lot of you are not that familiar with, okay? But yeah, it's a little lead bug, guys, that's pretty good. There we go. What have we got? Skiller Boy 8. Hello from Wales. Hello to you, my friend. Thank you for joining us. Cricket over, 155 for 9. So the team back in second didn't chase down that score. Had some nice food barbecuing this week, didn't we? A bit of chicken tikka, some peppers. Tonight, scampi, chips and baked beans. Load of salad cream, coleslaw. Winner. Lovely dinner. Oh, God. So, yeah, I've got Testwood to see Nigel, end of April, and then I'd like to squeeze a little trip in before that. Lavina, have you ever been to Chew Valley Lake or Blagden Lake? Wow, guys, I have been there, but I'm going back 35 years. Back in the days where all the reservoirs were really busy, and if you went to these places opening day, you had to queue in your car. You ask some of the guys from Wales, they used to leave at 12 o'clock to get in the queue to be in the queue down the lane, 40, 50 cars for opening day, and what have you to get their pegs. But I think, we all know, I think stillwater fishing has suffered over the last 10 years perhaps, costs have gone up and everything, and the problem we've got is rainbow trout like cold water. We haven't got year-round cold water, have we? So we got to make the most of what we got. We've still got lots of venues up there, and we've just got to cherry pick, perhaps the big fish, slightly colder autumn months, winter months when the water's cold. Perhaps venues with slightly smaller fish if it gets a little bit warm, because those big fish don't like chasing, especially when that water gets very, very warm. Right, okay, so I've answered that one. I have fished Chew and Blagden, but 35 years ago. Do you know, and years ago, you didn't have those range of modern flies now, like all the stalking patterns I designed. You didn't need stalking patterns there. But remember, back in the day, the big lures, where the black lure back in the day was the Viva and the Sweeney Todd, ace of spades or a double ace of spades, and the white lure, before the cat's whistle come out, you had the missionary and you had the appetizer. Guys, these were all brilliant flies. But and buzzers, obviously, Chew and Blagden. Now come April, you get massive hatches of buzzers on these lakes, and I've got to get my ass into gear, and I've got to get tying buzzers. I am completely out. But years ago, the rule of thought was, if you were going over Chew and Blagden, make sure you take orange, not big orange lures, which were okay, but little orange grenadiers, a little natural or little wet fly, soldier palmers, little sort of orangey red wool with a palmer hackle. And they reckon, if you went to Blagden and Chew, you have to have little orange wet flies on your droppers, fish that big double ace of spades or something. But big perch there and all, and jack pike. I only ever caught small jack pike, but as we know now, pike on Chew over 40 pound and lots of 20s and 30s. But I think with pike they do pike thrive from neglect. If you can find a stretch of river or a lake that hasn't been fished before, get in there, bang, 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 you'll have them all. You'll have loads of pike. But when these fisheries, like on opening day, say for pike, there's 50 boats out thrashing the water. Each boat will have 20, 30 pike. The next day, it'll go down and down and down. Just imagine the pike at Langdedford now. The record, didn't it come from Langdedford? How old is that record at Langdedford? 20, 30 years old now, is it? Is it a bit more than that? Was it £50? Something like that? £50? Gareth Davis, rugby player, caught a massive fish there as well, didn't he? But that hasn't been fished. As a trout fishery, Langdedford was like an international trout venue, for home internationals. They'd fish Langdedford. I'm not 100% sure, even if they're fishing Langdedford for trout now. I know they opened it out for coarse fishing, and I've seen reports and pictures of people with like 300, 400, 500, 600, 700 pound of bream. These fisheries for coarse fish have been neglected because they've never been coarse fisheries, So these fish have just thrived from neglect. I think my good mate Kyron, I think one day he said to me, he had a couple of days there, on the bream, on the swim feeder, they allow you to go out the night before, chuck in 2 or 3 sacks of bait, put a marker, a pop bottle, say 40 yards off the bank, and then when you go to the bank the next day, you can cast your feeder to the marker. And I think he said to me he lost count one day over 100 big bream, and these bream are somewhere between like £5 and £10. So wow, you've got, and I think years ago you probably see that Matt Hayes had a video with Mick Brown where they were fishing off the bank for bream. But there's going to be big carp in there. There's lots of hybrids, bream roach hybrids, and probably bream well into double figures. They don't get fished for. They thrive from neglect, especially the pike. But imagine those pike there, going back, it was 30s and 40s. It hasn't been fished for pike much over the last about 10 years. I might be wrong, but over 10 years. So those pike starting to thrive again. Look at all the bait they've got there. £5 bream for breakfast, £2 roach for lunch every day. So there could be, I think there will be new record pike in Langdedford now that haven't been fished for. So you imagine when the tickets come up for sale, day tickets come up for sale for like an opening lure session on Langdedford. Wow, they'll be so sought after. But guys, it's course fishing. Don't charge ridiculous prices. Like I think they might have at Chew or Blagden. Was it a couple of £100 a ticket for course fishing? Not on, not having it. They catch a fish, the fish go back, you know. So guys, if you do open it up, be sensible on the price of tickets, guys. It's course fishing, you know, and then give everybody a chance at catching those monster pike, a fish of a lifetime, a record pike. Linda, could you pour me one of those, please? I might just have a glass of wine with you guys. My wife just poured a glass of wine. I'll have a glass of wine. Who've we got? Dean Hayes. Hi, Martin. Hope you're okay. Dean, I'm fine. Thanks, guys. I'm fine. This is something I'm trying new. Whatever I've done, it seems to be working. We've been live for, thank you very much. We've been live for 36 minutes now. I've got a glass of Vino Calapso. Cheers, guys. Lovely. I love barbecue season, guys, this time of year. Love it, love it, love it. Just want our winds to change to sort of southerly, southwest, just warm winds, you know. You can sit out in the evenings. That's the nice things about going on holidays. I haven't been on holidays for a fair few years now. Used to do a lot, you know, going to the Caribbean, game fishing and all that, but I suppose, truth you know, have I got £5 to spend on a Caribbean holiday now? No, I haven't. So would I rather spend money in the garden, you know, on bits and pieces and a smoker and a barbecue? Yes, I would, because it's something that, you know, that we use every single day. Every single day. And like the family come down like on a weekend, on a Saturday, we can barbecue all day. But what we'll do, we might put something on the barbecue, say at 1 o'clock. You know, perhaps some sausages, might be a bit of halloumi and some chorizo. Have a nibble, have a bit of a drink, you know, and then, you know, have a bit of a chat, grandkids running round, and what have you, got some music on, kids can jump in a hot tub, whatever. And then perhaps at 3 o'clock, put something else on, another, you know, something a little bit different, or I might have some rib smoking or something like that. Problem is a lot of barbecues, everybody cooks everything at once, and like you got too much food to eat at once. When you get around to nibbling, something is cold, so do it every 2 or 3 hours, you know. Lamb kebabs, I love making like lamb kebabs. Oh, really nice and tasty. So yeah, like lamb kebab, bit of mint sauce, might be 3 o'clock, you know. And then sometimes what I've done then is perhaps keep the steak for the evening, but generally as a rule, you've had too much food later on for a nice steak. So if you have a steak, you know, perhaps 4 o'clock, skip the 3, have a steak about 4 or something like that. Do you know the best value meat, guys, is pork tenderloin? You got pork tenderloin. What's a pork tenderloin? About £4 for a pork tenderloin. It's a slab of all lean meat, you know. So I think one of my favourite barbecue meals of all time, my good mate Phil, pork souvlaki. Oh yeah, just and the recipe I used for pork souvlaki, I think, was the one that if you look under a Rick Stein, there's a pork souvlaki, but I use hot paprika and smoky paprika, you know, so that I coat the pork. You know, when you can get nice chunks of pork like that, so you get loads off a pork tenderloin, skewer them up, and on the barbecue they go again with a bit of let me get it right, tzatziki. That sort of, and that's easy enough to make, isn't it? I think it's cut up cucumber, squeeze the juice out of it, bit of natural yogurt, probably a bit of salt, bit of lemon, is it? Something like that, a bit of tzatziki, and then some pita bread. So you've got your really spicy pork souvlaki, bit of pita bread, raw onions, bit of tzatziki. One of my favourites. One of my favourites, guys. Love that. Love that. I'm going to do that next week now. I'm going to do that next week. And it was last year I got into the... let me just turn the telly down a little bit. Just finished it. Just doing the presentations on the... There we go. Yes, where was I? Yeah, so pork souvlaki, love it, love it, love it. But say, last year I started getting into the smoking. And I tried 2 briskets. Pete got me a big brisket. I chopped it in half. And guys, yeah, first one was like that. Crap. And the second one wasn't much better. There was a bit of moisture. So, am I going to spend 80, 90 quid on a piece of brisket? I'd like to, but no, I can't. So but then I was smoking ribs, ribs, so good. And ribs, as we know, pork ribs, cheap enough, and they 3 or 4 quid a rack. You can put 3 or 4 on them, you know, put some marinade on them and smoke them and what have you. But I'm using I've got a barbecue, is half gas, half charcoal, and an electric smoker in the middle. So I'm using my charcoal barbecue, and then I put in like a heat deflector on it, some ceramic. So I'm using that for a smoker, which actually works fine. I find it's a little bit harder to get the temperature to balance out, you know, but to keep it, you know, not too hot because it's too close. With the side smokers, you know, you've got all your charcoal and your wood in there, and that filters the heat through, not, you know, underneath it. So that's the saving the pennies this year for a side smoker anyway, while we're potching with the garden. But yeah, and then Peter makes me some venison sausages, split them down the middle, fill them with Philadelphia, jalapenos on the top, more grated cheese on the top, put them on top like that. Good. Spicy chicken wings. You can go to Morrison's, get a tray of chicken wings, can you? Like that for like $3.99, and you got loads in there. Just coat them in a bit of seasoning, and in the smoker they go. Get that bit of a crispy because of the skin and what have you. What do I use on those? Chickalika Bam Bam. Good spice on that if you like your chicken. So yeah, good. What have we got? Sledge fly fishing. There we are. Martin, loving your mini leech. Thank you very much, sledge fishing. That's excellent. I do see your videos around. Keep up the good work, sledge fishing. Yeah, so what I'll do with this is just, because where I follow some other stuff on the YouTube, did I call it the dark side? I was watching a bit of MMA, mixed martial arts, going back a while ago when Danny Christie fought for the world championship. Did he, the bare knuckle one? And I like Danny Christie, really nice guy, very religious guy, but a really nice guy. Looked at his post today, and but yeah, and then I started watching some stuff off that, and there's such a lot of bollocks on that as well. Like everybody's going to fight everybody, but no one actually fights, you know. But yeah, but that's where I got the idea from doing the live. There's a guy called Hedgehog Man who sort of rips the piss out of all these people, and but I see, and the other guy I like is Michael. Is it Bisbane, the ex World Championship MMA fighter, the guy with Rost and I. Yeah. I really like that guy as well. Yeah, but I see when I go onto YouTube, I go onto my subscriptions, you know, they advertise in advance when they're going to go live. So yeah, I will double check that. But guys, I am chuffed saying that everything's working. I didn't know, it was a bit of a trial run, but that's good. Let me have another slurp of this Vino Collapso. Nice. Nice. Guys, I haven't heard anything on Diva. Anybody got any hot gossip on Diva? You know, anybody's companies have booked corporate days or anything going on? I haven't heard a thing apart from the post on the guy who's, I think, you know, you book your tickets through to saying, I think it was April, you know, it was going to open back up for corporate bookings. I believe it was 345 quid a day, 10 anglers, so that's nearly 3.5 large, isn't it, for there. You know, you have a full cooked breakfast, a local sirloin steak, you know, butchered local and all that, which is all lovely. But I don't know anything about the fish in there. You know, what I was led to believe, I thought it was going to be sort of smaller fish, £3 to £5, and unlimited catch and release. So that sounds like a bit of fun. You know, that sounds like a bit of fun. Let's take a tenner out for breakfast. Let's call it 15. Super duper lunch and drink and wine. What should we call it down there? 40 quid. So let's say about 50 quid for food. So we're down from 345 to 295 now. Got the place to yourself and what have you. I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think. I would love it to be open as a day ticket fishery. Me now, 57. My first trip to Diva Springs with a guy called Des Powell. And I love Des Powell. He was a lovely, lovely old guy, Des. I think he worked on the council. He was like a charge hand. He had a nose all over his face. Ex-boxer and scrapper years ago. And his nails. But what a lovely guy. And he took me to Diva when I was 18. And I'm 57, so nearly 40 years ago. And that, I think that's why it's always been my favourite. I think that's always been my favourite. I loved it. But Des Powell, an absolute lovely guy. Lovely guy. But passed away a long time ago. Lovely guy though. Yeah, he got me in really, I suppose, because I used to work in the fishing tackle shop then, and I was used to fishing the Wentwood Reservoir and, you know, catching £1.12, £2 fish, which was fine, you know. And then I used to hear these stories of him catching 10, 12 pounders and seeing the pictures and all that, you know. I thought, do they really exist, fish that big? You know? So I saved up my money. I saved from Christmas to March. My birthday's in March. I saved for about 3 months to go to Diva Springs. I think on my first trip ever, when we were driving up, there was a white frost, a snow white frost. So I thought, shit, is this going to fish now, you know? So what was that? Oh, all right, guys. That's my GoPro just, the battery dying because I had the GoPro on, looking at the video clips on my phone, but it's just died a death now. But yeah, so I had a 4-fish ticket when we got there. I think it was about 45, 50 quid then. And I had a 4-fish ticket and I landed 3 fish. I think I had 2 5-pounders and a 6-pounder, and I lost a few. And I ended up using a big black lure, letting my intermediate go all the way down on the big lake and twitching it across the bottom. And there was a cold wind picked up. I don't know if I knew what I was doing then so much. Probably don't know. But I had some of these big fish and they were going down to the next peg. And rather than me sort of walk down to it to help it, I was trying to drag it up against the wind and the weight of the fish. And so I ended up with 3 fish. I think I might have lost, 2 or 3 fish as well. But yeah, 40 years ago, Diva Springs, guys. Wow, 40 years ago. Nice. So yeah, stalkers are coming on okay, guys. So I'm going to go maximum for a relist of stalkers will be Wednesday night. I've got a few more there to do. You know, I've been working since about 7 o'clock this morning. I don't have a day off. Sounds silly, guys, but I don't have a... Well, I don't get... Like today, Saturday, I've been working all day. You know, it's quite comfortable. I'm sat in the kitchen here, had some food outside, potching back for the garden. Got my big TV on the wall here, watching sport and bits and pieces. Yeah, but I'm probably done for the day now. What is the time, guys? 7:15, and then tomorrow we'll get going again. I got some more stuff to do in the garden and some more, and lots of orders to pack as well for tomorrow as well. So yeah, lots going on tomorrow. Not going to have a barbecue tomorrow because those winds are still kicking 15 knots of easterly. So yeah, cold winds outside. Let me have a look, guys. Anything on there? Dean Hayes, I went to my local fishery last Saturday, Bigwell. That's at Monmouth. I haven't been there for a while. And I had 7 trout and 2 perch, all fish caught on apps worms. Apps bloodworms are really, it's a really good pattern, and a pattern I literally don't use anymore, but it is a really good pattern. Sledge fly fishing. I've not had any luck on the red apps, so going green next time. I will keep trying. Do you know, years ago, 20 years ago, when we used to fish Letchlade, you could get away with 2 flies, a black and green leech like that for pulling, and you'd be on the boat chucking it, and if you were stood up, I'm not joking, guys, you'd virtually have a follow every chuck or a tweak or something, you know. And if you fished like 5 or 10 pulls and you 5 or 10 casts right down the pull, it was sort of we got into routine. The fish were there, but they just didn't want to follow, so we put an indicator on and a red bloodworm, a marabou tail bloodworm, and that was at, you know, whatever depth, and you would chuck it to the same area where you'd be pulling a black and green leech with no luck, and then you put a bloodworm on static. You wouldn't be waiting long, down it'd go and all that. And there used to be another lake at as you go over the bridge at Letchlade, we turn right into the town of Letchlade that way. But if you go left, there's a couple of carp fisheries and different things, and there was one called Milestone, which was a nice sized fishery. It was lovely, and the olive marabou bloodworm there was absolutely deadly, absolutely deadly. I caught a big goldie there one day. We turned up one day and it was like fish everywhere, lots of these big goldies you could see over the lake, and we said, can we get a boat? And they said, oh no, they're all fully booked. And this was like probably about 8 now, probably 9 o'clock, and there was a few of us on the bank, not too many, and none of these boats had gone out. Then a couple of carloads turned up, and it was Bob Church, who's, you know, I believe passed away now, and Bob Church, if you're a keen fly angler, you know, back in the day, we all had Bob Church fly rods, didn't you? If you had a good fly rod back in the day, you had a Bob Church, which was, he had loads. He had a Blagden, a Rutland, a long range caster, an X-weave, power weave, you know. I've got a couple in the garage now there somewhere, or a Whisker Kevlar, or a Shimano power loop, or twin power. But anyway, Bob Church turned up, and 6 or 8 people, and they went out on the boats. Anyway, so I think we was on a catch and release ticket, and my mate, that's right, my mate had caught this big goldie, and it was a big goldie then. It was about, I don't know, 6 or 7 pounds, something like that. And we weren't supposed to take these fish out of the water. It was going to come in the net, but it was such a thin, perfect fish. He's got this fish out quick. I said, hold it quick, just to take a picture. As I took a picture of this, the fish flipped in the air, so the picture was like that, and the fish landed on the ground and landed on the only stone on the grass bank. So we wedged this fish into the sort of reeds, you know, because he was okay, he was active and what have you. But I think, yeah, later on the fish died. So we went and told the guy, said, look, we took a picture of a big goldie, fish flipped and he bumped. He said, yeah, he said, I seen it. He said, just pay me for the extra fish. But yeah, the picture, I haven't got the picture now, but was like this lovely goldie in mid-air, and mate going like that. But that was a big goal. But that was Milestone, and I don't think that's been a trout fishery for years and years. There's a couple of like nice carp fisheries up there as well, and one that used to have monster pike in there, like 30 plus pike. Well, yeah, 29, 31, just up that road there. I expect the fishery is still there now. But yeah, so that was great. I remember years ago on the South Cerney Road there, you had the pits there, you had Horseshoe and Rainbow. They were like some of my first trips with a friend, you know, up those lakes there. But I think they're all shut as trout fisheries now. I think some of them even run like freshwater crayfish farm from the lakes, because there's all those lakes have got crayfish in them. They even Letslade's got absolute monstrous ones. They've all got crayfish in, but I think some of the lakes actually then turn the fisheries over to farming crayfish, you know. So yeah, but there was lots of waters there that we used to love fishing. Yeah, love fishing. How long have I been on you guys? Let me have a little look. 56 minutes. Do you know what, guys? It's been really enjoyable talking to you guys. So what I will do, I will do this once or twice a week now, but what I'll do, there's obviously a way where you can put it on, like I could put it on my YouTube, that when I'm going to do it. So like if I was going to do it tomorrow, I'd go in live at 7 p.m. Okay, so I'll find out how to do it. Well, that's my son. He'll look straight away, won't he? So yeah, but it's been good, guys. It's been good. Yeah, it's been a bit breezy today, but nice in the garden, in the shelter, in the warm, lovely, in the breeze, chilly. So this is the time now. It's past my bedtime. Go watch a bit of TV till about 9:30, and then that's lights out for us. Early to bed and up early in the morning. I've got to put some wood around the artificial lawn, which had like half round treated wood, but that was say 10 years ago, so that's rotted. So I got that up. I got some new wood, treated wood, and I got to paint the barbecue cover. So we're not far away. I've taken some photographs as I've gone along as well. Yeah, so guys, let me know what you think about the live. All right, tell your friends, tell your mates. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I'm on about 1,700. Let's see if we can make it 100,000 by next weekend. No, only joking, guys. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? So yeah, but no, I love chatting to you guys. I love sharing flies and any information and yeah, stories from back in the day. And I've got millions, so yeah, we'll do some more. Let me just check on there. All the best. Keep up the good work, lead fishing. Thanks very much, guys. Love you all. Have a good rest of the day, and I will do another live midweek and then on the weekend. All right, guys, but let me know what you think. It's something new, but we can chat. And even if you have questions on you know, flies, whatever, leading material, priests, you know, stringers that Neil Perry custom makes for us, you know, whatever, you know, fly lines, different types of fly lines, carbon rods, whatever you want, guys. Yeah, methods, I'll do my best to answer them, but I'm sure if I don't know, there's someone who will help us, guys. Okay, so I'll put my glasses on because I don't know how to turn it off. So guys, it's been great talking to you all. All right, so yeah, it's been enjoyable, guys. So I will speak to you soon. We've got 59 minutes, 57, 58, 1 hour exactly. That was really enjoyable, guys. So I will speak to you soon. Let me know, guys, what you think. Okay, and we can do this more often. Bye bye for now. Take care.